Well, guys, the delisting here in Florida just keeps getting worse. Don't need to tell anybody that the narrative is now switched to sellers are spitefully pulling their homes off the market because they cannot achieve the prices that they want. Not just here in Florida, actually across the nation, this is starting to happen, and it's being used to spur buyer activity. I don't think that's going to work. Hey, if you don't buy our house, we'll take it away. They weren't going to buy it anyway. But some of these new numbers are mind-blowing. Article out of Realtor.com. For the month of July in Miami, for every 100 homes that they listed, they delisted 60. So that's wild, especially since, we've looked at Miami's inventory and it's still going up. The month supply and the overall listings are still going up. So even when 60 listings are being removed for every 100 being added, they're still seeing an increase in that MSA of what's listed. I mean, yeah. And this is kind of what's going on all over the place. The Compass company, Compass is a real estate brokerage around the nation. They put out a map here that I want to take a look at, indicating in markets they serve what type of delisting numbers they're seeing. Take a look at this, guys.
So this is the cancellation rate that Compass put out. Again, I don't know where this is sourced from or how this is sourced, but this kind of echoes what we're seeing in Miami when 59 out of every 100 homes is being delisted. They've got a 60% delisting ratio here in Florida. And really, the only place higher right now is Hawaii at 48%. Texas is at 47%. So this is the worst in the nation. But some of these numbers, again, this is only where Compass operates, so they don't have these states that are grayed out here. They don't have that kind of data. Pretty high, just about everywhere in the country, except up here in the Northeast, you're getting down to 12.8%. Not too bad. Pretty much 1 in 5 homes right now from almost all this data is what we're seeing when we look nationwide. Now, this is the article from the New York Post. Here's why sellers in this Florida city are delisting their homes faster than anywhere else in the nation. And we know why they're doing it, because they can't get what they want right here. Rather than dropping their asking prices, sellers in the South Florida metro are yanking their listings off the market. So they got the 59% delisting ratio out of a July housing report, which we'll also take a look at. But they make sure to clarify that the figure more than doubles the national average of 21%. And again, with a national average of 21%, it's starting to make this Compass map look pretty accurate. Theirs seem to be a little higher if you were to average all these out. But again, we have a bunch of states that are missing here.
So unfortunately, they're not pointing to any data. They're not giving any links to say what this is. But I mean, that 60% in Florida seems pretty in line with what Realtor.com is reporting about Miami. So I don't know if you guys are in any of those other states. Let me know what you're seeing in the comments below. Are you seeing people pull stuff off the market here towards the end of the summer, just saying, I'm done, we'll try again next year? Compass actually kind of in a bit of turmoil with Zillow right now. As you guys may know, a few months back, they introduced a new option for agents to have basically exclusively withheld listings. You could do delayed marketing. So you can sign up and only the brokerage that you signed up with can market your listings to their customers. Now, Compass has taken full advantage of that, and it's caused quite a stir with Zillow, who feels like you shouldn't be able to do that. So Zillow, and this is a broad explanation, guys, definitely Google it and check in on it if you're interested. Zillow basically said, if you do this, if you withhold listings from being publicly marketed to anyone outside of your company, we're going to ban your listing forever. Doesn't matter if you later change it to public, we're not going to display it. And each individual major brokerage site is taking their own stance on it. But they're definitely caught in a little bit of a beef with Zillow right now. And I don't know if Zillow's winning or Zillow has forced them to reconsider. What do you guys think about this practice of withholding a listing only for the brokerage to be able to market it and sell it within their company? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But as of July, Compass has changed its stance and said it's now committed to sharing all of its exclusive inventory with all brokerages and all MLSs, where before they didn't want to do that. So when this first came out, we speculated, well, is this good for sellers? I mean, why would you limit who you're going to expose your home to? Now, if the agent has somebody that they already know would buy this house, still don't see the benefit of withholding it from the public because, they may say, oh, I'm going to keep it in-house and I'm going to sell it. But why would you withhold it from the public? At least that way the public would have a chance to bid on it and multiple people might be interested. So for me personally, it doesn't shake out. Now, I don't know if that's the reason they've decided to change their stance, if they did this and it just didn't work out, or Zillow pressured them into it. But interesting to see the reversal going on right now. I, for one, would think it's kind of a strange strategy to do in a market like this, or really a market like Florida right now, where you're basically saying so many homes are not selling that we're seeing mass delistings. I don't know if I would limit who could potentially be exposed to those listings, but not my decision to make. At the end of the day, I can only run my operation the way I do it. That's just not something that I think I would do personally. But I could see in hot markets where it might be beneficial, potentially to the seller, to keep it in-house, maybe get some discounts, things like that. Everything's negotiable. Not here. Doesn't make sense to me. And the delisting still continues to not make sense to me. I know what the hope is, but too far in the future, I think, to bank on coming on next season and having a better result. It's a risky play right now. And there's a lot of stale listings that, if I'm being honest, would need massive price cuts to get moving. I know some people aren't ready for that. At this point, my advice, truthfully, is if your house isn't moving, you got to do at least a 10% price drop. And sometimes, depending on how overpriced it is, that might not even be enough. But if it's not 10%, don't even bother doing it, in my opinion, guys, because buyers are so savvy. They are all over this stuff. They track the history. They see what it's sold for. They see what you bought it for. They know how many price drops you've done. Buyers are super savvy. They're not just generally walking into a real estate office anymore, picking the first guy behind the desk to show them properties and then buying blindly. It's just that way of doing business is long over, but they're especially scrutinous right now. So you got to look motivated. You can say you're motivated, but when you're doing $100 price drops like I've seen recently, how motivated are you? It's almost an insult, I feel like. And I've seen houses do that. $600,000-$700,000 houses, $100 price drop. In what? In hopes of refreshing it into a feed? You may do that, but in my opinion, you're probably just going to piss everybody off that's looking at it. I don't think they're going to go, ooh. I don't know anyone that's going to turn around and be like, ooh, $100. Now they really want to get serious. It's just going to piss people off. And I would venture to say that even if it wasn't going to piss people off, even if someone who would have seen your house, it refreshed it in their feed, it put them out in front of them, and they said to themselves, you know what? That house is worth it. I want to take a shot on it. When they see a $100 price drop, that's probably going to go out the window. Whew, getting a little stormy here, guys. That's all I got for today. If you like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.